The list of accomplishments is long and impressive. Thelma and Louise, a river runs through it. Legends of the Fall, California, True Romance, Seven, 12 Monkeys, Fight Club, Snatch, Oceans 11, 12, and 13, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Babel, The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, Burn After Reading, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Inglorious Bastards, The Tree of Life, and Moneyball. Add to that the Academy Award and Golden Globe nominations, the Golden Globe, National Society of Film Critics, New York Film Critics, and Venice Film Festival Awards won. And consider the fact that People magazine has named tonight's guest one of the 50 most beautiful people in the world twice, and the sexiest man alive twice. Empire magazine has listed him as one of the greatest movie stars of all time, and Time magazine has listed him and Angelina Jolie in their annual 100 Most Influential People in the World issue for their philanthropic work. Those are a few of the many reasons the Actors Studio is very proud to welcome Brad Pitt. Tonight, as always, we begin the journey at the beginning. Brad, where were you born?
I was born in Shawnee, Oklahoma.
What is your father's name?
William Alvin Pitt.
And your mother's?
Jane Etta Hillhouse, now Jane Pitt.
What are their ethnic backgrounds?
We're probably products of Irish, Scots, Germans who settled in the area. Native American Indian. I know we have some Seminole and some Cherokee Indian in us.
Where did you grow up?
Springfield, Missouri.
How many siblings do you have?
I have a younger brother, Doug, and a younger sister, Julie.
What was your father's profession?
My father worked his way up through a trucking company and ended up managing it in his later years.
What was life in Springfield like?
It's Mark Twain country, it's Jesse James country, a lot of hills, a lot of lakes. I got my first BB gun preschool. I got my first 12 gauge in kindergarten or first grade. I was shooting shit up a year later.
Really?
Yeah.
What were your interests as a kid?
Sports, girls, shooting things.
In that order?
Not quite.
What about movies? Were they an important part of your life?
Movies were a big important part of the life.
Was Planet of the Apes part
Planet
of
of the Apes was a big one for me, yeah. I would go, we have this, we had the Ape-a-thon every summer, and they would play all 5 movies straight, and my mom, maybe she just wanted a day off, but she would drop me off in the morning and pick me up at 9 that night.
Saturday Night Fever?
Saturday Night Fever is a big one for me because it was the first R-rated movie that I snuck into, and it's still one of my all-time favorites. But not just because I'm a profound dancer. It was seeing another culture that was so much different than mine. It was seeing the way they would talk to each other at the table and getting these arguments and you know, he messes my hair. I work very hard on my hair and he messes my hair and this kind of stuff. And I just, and the language and it was another culture for me. It was a foreign land to me.
What were your academic interests in high school?
I really liked math. I liked math and science the most.
How did you do academically?
I did just well enough.
Just well enough?
Yeah.
What college did you attend?
University of Missouri, Mizzou. They had a really good J school, journalism school, and I visited all the campuses and some road trips, and I think that's the one I had the most fun at.
When and why did you leave college?
It was 2 weeks before graduation, and I realized, I saw all my friends who were signed up for jobs, and I realized I hadn't. And I'd always lamented that acting was not the career choice where I grew up. And it finally occurred to me that I could just load up my car and go to it. And so I'm still like a couple of credits short of graduating.
Who is Runaround Sue?
That was my beat-up piece of shit Datsun that I drove out.
How much money did you have in your pocket when you arrived?
I left with $325. I probably landed with about $225, and I stopped at a McDonald's, and I saw this newspaper. When I got to Burbank, I was staying in Burbank, and it said extra work. You could be an extra, and you had to pay $25, and they take your picture and they send you out.
Did you get some extra work?
Yeah, by that Friday.
Since 1994, we've heard some vivid accounts of the aptly named odd jobs that young actors and some of our students do. Did you have some as you began life in L.A.?
I had a lot of. I mean, it's what you do, right? It's what you do.
What did you do, for example?
The famous one, I had to dress up like a chicken for El Pollo Loco and say, you know, burritos, 99 cents. And then I drove strippers, which was an interesting...
Now, this is the Actors Studio Drama School at Pace University. We're very interested here in...
strippers?
In the craft of our guests. Obviously, you struck a nerve. What do you mean you drove strippers?
You would have to go to the girl's apartment, pick her up, and then you would have to drive her to the party. You would then be responsible for playing the music, which was cassette then, and then you had to catch the clothes so the guys didn't steal them as they came off, and then you had to try to collect the money at the end and get out of there alive, and it was not always easy.
Did you enjoy that work?
Yes, I did. I'll tell you something, I found my acting coach from it, too.
See, I knew where I was going. These are students, after all. This is what we want to know. How did you find your acting coach? Through the strippers.
There was a new girl there, and she told me about this class she started taking. It turned out to be Roy London, who was a beautiful human being. And
Roy London was a major force in Los Angeles. We've talked about him with Sharon Stone. Mm-hmm. And with Gina Davis.
Yep, that's right.
What did you get from him?
It was the first entry into craft, into making it your own, into investing in your own experiences and seeing what you can bring to the table. And it was that first thing that started pointing me in the direction I wanted to go.
In my opinion, not since Tom Cruise skidded into view in his underwear, framed in a doorway in risky business, has there been as auspicious a film entrance as this one, in which J.D. describes his larcenous skills in Thelma and Louise. How did that role come to you?
With difficulty. It was actually cast 2 times before. It came up a 3rd time, and it was a week before they were starting to shoot, and they were desperate. And I stuck my way in.
You have only a few scenes in the film. One of them was a steamy love scene. Was it easy for you? You're laughing. Was it funny?
I've stayed away from him since. It's really discombobulating.
How so?
Well, I was young and virile. And Gina's Gina.
On 3 occasions, we've talked about a fascinating movie called Seven. What drew you to this project?
I read the first 3 pages of the script and I went, and I tossed it. And it was about an old cop who wants out and the new cop wants in, and I just said, I've seen this story. And a dear friend of mine who's sitting right over here, Cynthia, who I've worked with for so many years, said, no, just read it. Just read it, read it, read it. And I did. And so I met with Fincher, and it was really sitting down with my now dear friend, David Fincher. And I remember this moment. We just were talking the same language, the same love of films, the same irritations with film, and just speaking the same language.
Tell us about working with Morgan Freeman.
He's got this amazing ability to actually take a power nap between takes. They're adjusting the light, and he'll go. Morgan, put the gun down, David. And it's flawless. Flawless.
What did you see in Detective David Mills that made you want to play him?
There's an American hubris to thinking you have the world figured out. That character saw the world in black and white and good and bad, and he pays in a big way for that hubris.
7 refers to the 7 deadly sins, and we see them one after another, graphically and relentlessly. The last 2, envy and wrath, are saved for the finale of the film.